Welcome to my show, Thoughts, Action, Success. Each day starts out with a morning. You may wake because your circadian rhythm is in total sync with the sun, or you might have been woken by your alarm clock, screeching in your ear, forcing you to start the day. But anyway, you end up waking up. Morning is the first part of the day. It's when you have the most important meal of the day. It's when you get ready to conquer the day ahead of you. And for some people, it's the only time alone they get before the rest of the day comes breaking the door down. So why not try to make every day start off as a great day? How we start the day is how we end the day. And we begin the day by waking up. But here's the question. How do you get out of bed? Do you wake up grumpy and frustrated? Or do you wake up feeling grateful and excited? Consider this idea. If the first sentence to your paragraph is weak, nobody's going to read through the rest of it, even if the rest is beautifully scripted. The same goes for your morning. If your morning doesn't go the right way, no matter what happens through the rest of your day, it'll remain a bad day because of the way it started. It's an inevitable chain reaction that you can prevent if you simply pay more attention to how your morning goes. The first step is to wake up in a better spirit. The easiest way to do this is by rising early. Now, usually when you wake up early, you're feeling real horrible. You see the time and groan and wonder why you woke up at such an early hour. But what's making you wake up in such a bad mood is the time you actually went to sleep. And the question is, what time did you really fall asleep? How did your sleep go? What caused your bad night? How can you prevent that bad night from ever happening again so your mornings are way better? If you haven't realised it yet, this is all just one big cycle. To have a good morning, you need to have a good night's sleep. To get a proper night's sleep, you need the right amount of sleep and you need to go to sleep feeling good. In order for you to have a peaceful rest with a happily tired mind, you should have had a good day. To have a good day, you need to wake up on the right side of the bed. So this cycle never ends. There will always be a starting point. Hopefully, with this knowledge, you can have better understanding of your future path and how to navigate your destiny. So how do you really start your day? No one can tell you how to live the perfect day. What's a perfect day for you could be a disastrous day to someone else. So the most anyone can do for you is to point you in a direction that you might want to try out, one that you might like. Cliche but true, any good morning starts on the right side of the bed. And in most cases, the right side of the bed faces the window in your room so you can catch a glimpse of the first rays of the light blue sky. Any morning you want to be worth it involves all of your favourite things. This could be a bubble bath or a warm cup of espresso to kick your mind. Some people read a book while their mind is fresh to reminisce about their favourite characters throughout the day. When you're starting a day, try to never start it on a bad note. Typically, if your day commences well, then the rest of the day doesn't seem so menacing and you can better handle situations you face throughout the morning, the afternoon, evening, and into the night. So don't tackle anything stressful first up in the morning. Things you know will take a long time and hard effort, save for after you've spoiled yourself a little in the morning. Most people assume that time for yourself is at night or in the evening when the day comes to an end. Well, this is an understandable assumption. Time in the evening should actually be dedicated to wrapping up and completing the day. The best time to spend on yourself isn't actually in the morning. When the sun's high and the day begins, you have to prepare for the following outcomes and responsibilities of the day. But that's why it's better to start your days earlier. Starting them earlier gives you more time to yourself, enough time to make the morning an enjoyable routine rather than one you resent. So time is a precious aspect in life, which is why you should always be thankful for what you actually have. All the time you're given shouldn't go to waste. Plan out your day. Think of how to decisively make use of your time each and every day. Each passing minute is a minute you'll never get back, so make them all count. If you humble yourself, you'll be less pessimistic and enjoy each moment a little more. Don't get the wrong idea. This isn't an easy persona to adapt. It's much easier to hate, blame, judge, and resent than it is to relish, cherish, and be thankful. To those who are naturally positive and appreciative of all they have, salutations to them. But for all the others who still aren't as grateful as they should be, there are steps you can take to get there. For instance, start by making a list of all the things you can't live without. These are the things you must be thankful for. Every night, go to sleep right after you read through the list, remembering all the things you have and should appreciate. When you wake in the morning, whether you realize it or not, you'll subconsciously reflect back on that list of things that you read before you went to sleep. If that was remembering your gratefulness, then your first emotions in the morning should be relief and relaxation, knowing that you have your necessities. You'll also realize the more grateful you become, the longer your list will get. The longer the list gets, the happier and more fulfilled you'll feel figuring out how much of your life is truly a blessing. In a way, all you're doing is opening your eyes to the reality of what can be taken away from you, and in this world, that's everything. It's an odd and simple way to uncover your inner gratitude, but it works anyhow. So after the morning, the rest of the day still lies ahead. What you do with the rest of your day will affect the way you sleep when it comes round to the night time. And how you sleep will then determine the primary outcome of your morning. So remember, the cycle never ends, and it's up to you to keep up. So, since your morning's been taken care of, and your thoughts of nostalgia and respect claimed by the silence of the night, what's left for the day? Everything else. Chores, responsibilities, errands, hobbies that deserve some recognition, those all need to fit into your day. Now that you've spent the whole morning to yourself, it's time to go outside and spend the rest of the day with others. This could be at work with your colleagues, keeping in touch with your social life, or visiting relatives for a long overdue family lunch. And in the daytime, when the sun shines on your path, you can surely find something to keep your mind active and occupied with optimistic thoughts. Stay light on your feet, since anything can come your way. Think of the things to be thankful for. Recollect on the great moments you've experienced again and again to keep your spirits high. Your destination is eventually the night where you'll rest for the next day, so make your goals to reach the starry lit sky and high hopes for the following day, called tomorrow. Read a good book, indulge in some hobbies, work out to shake off any stress or energy you may have left at the end of the day. Your day reflects your morning. Haven't you ever had someone look at your facial expression in the morning and immediately say, rough night, or I see you woke up on the wrong side of bed? Your morning has such a strong impact on your day. It literally shows on your face. So keep your head held high, because you want everyone to know you own the day. So there are two kinds of people in this world. Those who are capable of rising with the birds, and others who would rather be known as the night owls. These people are distinguished with two different names because they function best at different times of the day. If you're a morning bird, say even a rooster, you'll always be awake in the morning to coo when the light comes from the east, but you'll be dead asleep as the west consumes the light. An owl will never coo at sunrise because they're always too busy sleeping. They don't cherish the sun because it interrupts their slumber. Unfortunately, most people these days, they're now at night owls, and they sleep their days away when they could have been doing something else. The brutal truth is that while morning birds are living all the benefits of waking up early, night owls don't experience anything other than the downfalls of sleeping in, and that does eventually need to change. Another issue is that once you've chosen a side, it's hard to really convert to the other side. Seeing an early bird rise will annoy the owl as it tucks its feathers tightly over its beak, When the early bird watches the owl sway hypnotically in their sleep, they'll always feel frustration and angst towards the owl since they'll never be awake in the morning with everyone else. So once in a while, a balance can break between the two, where the afternoon becomes the overlapping hour, but time after that is simply too different to acquaint with. At the end of the day, humans aren't owls. We can't be nocturnal creatures because that's not how we were made to be. To live a healthy life, we need to thrive off of the sun and communicate with others on a daily basis. So naturally, there's something that has to be done for all those grumpy night owls. So to encourage you even more to wake up early, let me share with you some important reasons why you shouldn't be sleeping in. Primarily, there is this issue of fatigue. This can drag along throughout your day, making it seem longer and more tiring than it really is. Staying up late for too long can make you dizzy and relatively lightheaded. Fatigue is not something you'll notice at once, but it steadily builds up until you've reached points where even going to relieve yourself may seem like too lengthy and tiring of a task. Another issue experienced with late sleepers is their exposure to developing illnesses. Though sleeping in late has never been the cause of any sicknesses, it has been found to aid in its development and gives out a feeling of overall malice. Plus, staying up late always brings out the inner pig inside of you. When you stay up late, you crave for heavy junk food for snacking. Even though it feels good when you stay up like the rebellious soul you are, you're actually satisfying your gluttonous half that doesn't care for the healthy balance you must maintain. So before you grab for that bag of chips to binge watch an entire season of your favourite show on Netflix, remember what you're going to end up with. Another aspect to this issue is that sleeping right after eating isn't good for you at all. Instead of letting your food digest, you're forcing it to sit idle in your stomach, which can then create gastro issues throughout the night. Your sleep is actually your body's natural time when your immune system is strongest. As you rest, idle and immobile, your body can freely fight against illnesses, viruses, and bacteria that may have infested your body. But if you don't get the right amount of sleep or it becomes inconsistent, you don't allow your body the time it needs to protect your body from getting sick. So before you stay up late for no reason better than your own guilty pleasure, remember you'll have to pay the price for this lack of sleep. So why do some people wake up easier than others do? As humans, we're all made differently. Some people can apparently wake up fresh as a daisy as though stabbed with adrenaline. Otherwise, there are horrible sleepers that collapse off the bed and come crawling out of the sheets as though they fought with their pillows and lost. Whichever you are what you are. And most of the time, there isn't much you can admittedly do about it. What you can do, though, is change the time you come either crawling or pouncing out of your bed. Some people fail to sleep on time, get enough of it, or just resort to a more lethargic life than others, which makes them less energetic than most. Whichever it is, if it's affecting your mornings, you might want to change your ways. Sometimes on days when you work more, perhaps exercise or do heavy lifting and muscle work, your body requests more rest than usual. If this builds up faster than your metabolism can handle, you'll probably develop longer sleeping periods than others. There are many other things that can affect the way you sleep. The position you sleep is a really important factor. If you move around, you'll probably wake up more often than someone who sleeps just in one position. The way you slept as a child can also create a more variable sleep habit. If you're raised in the busy city, you'll probably enjoy the noise of the nighttime crowd. Those cars, the trucks, the sirens. If not, then the noise will probably rattle your brain beyond comprehension and force you to put earplugs in. If you need a warm environment, you'll most likely suffer during the winters. Those who prefer the cold side of the bed will most likely hate when the blankets come out to ruin the chilling experience. Then, of course, there are those who are light and heavy sleepers. So the light sleepers, they'll wake up to the sound of a pin dropping and then cry in angst as they can't return to their sleep. Those who are the heavy sleepers will just sleep on through their alarm clock and then curse the darn thing when they're late for work. It's all extremely variable, and there is no solid answer to why we all sleep differently. All you can do is try to understand yourself and your personal needs to make your sleep more comfortable and fulfilling so you can wake up as nicely as possible in the morning. So, if you truly want to change your ways and start waking up earlier in the morning, one thing you must establish is a routine. Every person functions more efficiently when they're working with a routine. Your routine might be to get up, get ready for work, been working 9 to 5 today, after that you come home, have something to eat, finish chores or responsibilities, and maybe watch some Netflix for a while. Then you go to sleep to start the day again. This is simply just a generic routine. It doesn't apply to everyone. If sleeping late is something you do often, then it becomes part of this routine. Routines are like habits. Once you've developed them, they're really hard to shake off. To change your daily routine means that you're committed to dedicate a portion of time and effort every single day to get things done. This can be tricky since you'll always prefer going about things the easier way. It's our human nature. So in order for you to submerge a new habit into your day, it's essential that progress occurs one step at a time. So don't try to skip to the end results when you're an early riser and you wake up sparkling like a sunflower in the prairie fields. Life isn't that easy. Sorry. You can only advance at a steady pace. Take those steps. And that pace can be really slow at times. You may not even wake up as you wanted to on the first few days. You may not even get yourself to sleep on time, even if you're tucked up in bed at 9 o'clock. It'll take time and baby steps to finally change your routine into a much better one. Since you'll be taking one step at a time, the first step you must take is waking up in the morning. So this is the main goal. So let's just start here. Yes, this may seem counterproductive to the statement I've just said about taking baby steps, but the truth is this is the first baby step you will have to take. The only way you ever start is by starting large, seeking where that leads you, and discover what's stopping you. When you fail to wake up fresh in multiple attempts, you need to figure out the reason why. It could be because though you went to bed early, you actually fell asleep late and therefore required more sleep. So the actual hours of sleep you got wasn't even any more though you went to bed earlier. It could also be that though you went to sleep early, you had nothing provided to help you wake up early, which resulted in your subconscious waking you up as it usually would. When you go big the first time, you're bound to go wrong. Mistakes are what you'll learn from, and from there you make better and smarter choices. So after a feeble attempt the first time, you can correct your mistakes to make for a better prepared night and a healthier, happier morning. Another point to remember is your morning should never be a struggle. If you find that you woke up on the wrong side of the bed or your morning isn't going well at all, then rest some more and try again tomorrow. So no matter how hard we try, not every morning is going to be perfect. And if it were up to us, we never would actually rise early. Sleep is great. And if you're not getting enough of it, you'll never be a morning angel that awakes with the call of the sun. Remember that going to sleep on time is just as important as waking up on time. Though no one will ever force you to do so, it's better to sleep early. Your parents only ever yelled at you to go to bed because they knew the horrible feeling of waking up late and hating the rest of their day. They'd been there, they'd done that. We all thought we knew better. So all parents want their children to rise happy and full of energy. That's why, like any parent, you'll have to be on your own back, pestering yourself to sleep on time. Everyone has heard the saying, the night's still young, and yeah, it's a fun motto to live by, yet it's also an unhealthy motto to succumb to. Though it seems to be all fun and games when you hoot amongst the night owls, the day to come, the day where you'll be spending time with your work colleagues and people that matter to you, definitely won't be as much fun. The truth is that the day was made to fulfill opportunity and experiences, not so you could lounge around and do nothing. Being active in the day is much more important than being active at night. And so, sleeping early becomes the next step to your progress. Every person requires 8 to 10 hours of sleep daily. So if you plan to wake up at 7 in the morning, you'll have to go to sleep at least by 11 p.m. for 8 hours. If you think you'll be better off with 10 hours of sleep, then you have to go to sleep at 9 at night. It may seem cruel and bring along nostalgic memories of school nights, but it is for the best. Once the late nights are gone, the mornings will be easier to manage. You'll eventually start waking up in the morning feeling much better, and staying up at night will become much harder. This balance will make for a healthy routine and a surefire habit of rising with the sun. So while you become the increasingly positive morning bird, you'll also have to watch out for other pesky little habits sneaking in that can prevent you from staying up too late and returning back to your lethargic ways. It's always easier to return back to the ways things were. If you fall asleep late once and wake up late, you may stray into this routine for days before you can really fix your schedule back again. To prevent this, there are some other habits that you have to shake off. Perhaps you end up procrastinating your chores until the end of the day. You'll watch television at night or even simply enjoy the quiet starry sky above your head. There's nothing wrong with any of these habits or hobbies, but they will interrupt your attempt to rise early. So anything you do after the sun sets will affect your sleep. Therefore, it's better to wrap up all of your chores and jobs before the sun sets so you can properly finish the day. If you make late night plans with family or friends, pre-plan them so they don't fall too late into the night. It's all right when once in a while you stay up late, but staying up late is an easier habit to catch than waking up early. So before you do anything, think about what the result will be. If you have a coffee at 9 p.m., is it going to keep you awake? Going out for late night movies are most likely also to keep you awake. Hangovers and late night parties aren't any help either for the next morning. Sleep may not always be in your control, but in the control of your subconscious. You don't realize it, but your body works on this mental schedule, which is steadily developed over time. If sleeping in is what your body is used to, then that habit has become a part of your routine. All of your hours awake and asleep work based on what you are accustomed to. But changing this, though, is not as easy as just listening to this show. It takes a lot of devotion and constant reminders. An intuitive habit isn't something that just rubs off on you. It takes time to change as it does to develop, which really could be months. It could even be years. Nonetheless, sleep is what comes before waking up and therefore is the impacting action that will either help you or hold you from waking up on time. So let's dive deep into this concept. So don't confuse this with getting enough sleep or not, but we will instead look into how you sleep, the pattern you sleep, and what you've got accustomed to. We're going to talk about your possible sleeping patterns. So your sleeping pattern can be defined as the natural custom you follow to fulfill your necessary amount of desirable slumber. Now, the unfortunate part is that nowadays, as our lives have got busier and schedules more tedious, people tend to completely overlook their sleep and develop negative sleeping habits, which isn't really good for your mental or your physical health. It'll also let you wake up nice and early with the rising sun. So sleeping patterns refer to the routine of sleep you receive daily. So a good healthy sleeping pattern will consist of 8 to 10 hours of consistent and uninterrupted sleep. Of course, in today's hectic world, there's no such thing as a normal sleep schedule for anyone. Sometimes it just feels like there really isn't enough hours in the day to get anything done. But yes, there are 24 hours in a day, no matter what your brain tells you, and that really is more than enough to tire you out to the bare bones. But not everyone can get that sleep that they need. So why is this? It's because of your sleeping pattern. So a good sleeping pattern, as I mentioned earlier in the show, is one that consists of 8 to 10 hours of uninterrupted, consistent sleep that occurs at the same hours of each and every day. This is the ideal sleep pattern to have for the healthiest balance between your days and your nights. With this kind of sleeping pattern kept in mind, you can apply this to the schedule that you have. Surely, in between the family, friends, acquaintances, and work, there are 8 beautiful hours just waiting for you to arrive and greedily consume them with the heavy duty sleep that you need. Those that have a healthy sleep pattern will always have a fresh burst of energy to complement their newfound joy of the new day. They'll also have a mind at its highest peak of productivity and creativity. The benefits to sleeping well make you a happier, healthier, and more positive person in general. Since humans work best when on a schedule, a steady sleeping pattern will make you a steadier person. The sleep needs to be steady, peaceful, and in the most comfortable bed that you can possibly have. Sleep is when your body can rest, heal, repair, and refresh. In this timely process, you have to keep your body relaxed and soothed so you're ready for the following day. It'll most definitely welcome you with a warm embrace. Sadly, this isn't what people tend to get, and instead they move to the other type of sleeping patterns. This is the sleeping pattern, the one that most people work on nowadays. This is an inconsistent, tedious, and horribly timed sleep hour schedule that breaks into sections of your day. As people nowadays can't find the time for themselves, it's evident they also don't find the time for sleep. Now, you might think that you're getting all the sleep you deserve with a chaotic schedule, constant running around, and endless errands to attend to. Your sleep is probably divided, limited, and scanty. So what does this really bring you? Nothing good. Eventually, you'll become grumpy, disheartened, and unenthusiastic about everything because you aren't getting your complete sleep. You won't wake up happily and instead reluctantly. Rather than tackling your day with willpower and optimism, you'll feel as though you're being dragged by the neck to each and every destination on your agenda. Split hours of sleep don't satisfy your requirements and instead agitate them even further. When you're not getting a good long sleep, you're missing out on the break your body needs to recover from working all day. But getting too little sleep isn't the only issue. Getting too much sleep can also hurt you. If you're getting more sleep than you need, you can become lethargic and a weakened soul, since your body isn't moving and your mind not working as much as it should. When you're tired all the time, sleep can make you crankier than usual and you'll wind up in an endless cycle of frustration. Your sleep can make you the most approachable, friendly, and sweet person in the world, or turn you into the bitter, cruel, and grumpy troll that crawls out from under the bridge only to taunt the others around them with constant pessimism. So what really stops you from waking up early? There are many things that keep you from waking up on time. One of the main things that stop you would actually be yourself. All the things you do to avoid sleeping at the hour or distract your bored mind from dozing off keep you up at night and ruin your sleep. So your refusal to wake up because you have nothing to do in the morning, no one to see, or no plans can also keep you lounging in bed for a few more hours. Anything that holds you down in your lifestyle is naturally no one else's fault but your own. So take some time right now to compare your routine in the morning and your routine at night. If you concentrate hard enough, you'll realize that the morning routine is more automatic and basic than your nightly routine. All the fun, exciting things seem to happen either in the afternoon or closer to the evening rather than first thing in the morning. So here's a quick question I want you to consider. What would your day look like if your morning was more exciting? So some habits can be so irritating. They simply refuse to leave you alone. The only issue with these habits may be that they interrupt your sleep and mornings. Now, most habits, especially after you reach about the age of 20, have firmly become fixated into your personality. Anything you develop after this age will also be really hard to shake off. Some habits are positive, mind you. Not everything has to be a bad aspect of your personality. If you enjoy keeping your surroundings clean and organised, then good for you, since that's an amazing characteristic of yours. Unfortunately, the focus here wouldn't be your positive characteristics, but those negative ones that interfere with your routine. When you're going to go to bed, do you immediately remember your devices, maybe in particular your phone? Do you have the need to check your phone before you go to sleep? This is an extremely common habit people have. But it isn't just phones that create this habit. It could honestly be anything. When you're by yourself, you have nothing to do and your mind starts to wind down. You suddenly remember a million and one things you want to do and feel the sudden urge to do them. So this habit of yours and most people around you is the most common interference that prevents you from getting the right amount of sleep. Just as it's important to have a routine in the morning, you also really need to have a balanced routine come the night time. When you know it's time to go to bed, wrap up everything at least half an hour beforehand. Turn off the lights, electronics, lock the doors, shut the windows, put the rest of the house to sleep before you do so that there's nothing left to do. Keep your devices and distractions out of the room you sleep in. This way, you can rest peacefully, knowing that the day has been successfully wrapped up. Also, mind your eating and drinking habits close to bedtime as well. Opt for a chamomile tea instead of a coffee. Don't work too late in your day or you'll have an adrenaline surge just before you're about to go to bed. Experts recommend keep a slightly cooler temperature for an optimal sleep experience and keep the lighting in your room dim enough simply for sleep and nothing else. So, you may have the routine, the alarm clock, and the total determination to wake up early. But what if you're not getting enough sleep? You might ask, but Kirsty, I don't have a normal working cycle. I work shifts or 2 jobs at once or travel a lot for my job. For those of you that this applies, your routine does look a little different. And that means your sleep patterns are different as well. These may not be the healthiest lifestyles, but there is always a way to make things better. So sleep deprivation is an issue that develops over time. The first few days that you miss out on sleep, they might even faze you, but it's after a week or 2 when you feel the real pressure of sleep deprivation. Abnormal routines usually host long hours of staying up and shorter hours of sleep and rest. You're used to sleeping at night and waking up in the morning, but if you're working night shifts or traveling for a job, night may not be the right time for you to sleep. So your routines have to be altered, whilst keeping in mind that you need at least 8 hours of consecutive sleep. This could mean that afternoons become your nights or even your mornings. So unfortunately for those whose schedules don't work out for nights or mornings, there isn't much you can do for early mornings other than look for other options that allow you to have the night for yourselves. For those that don't have such requirements, nothing is holding you back from conquering the nights besides yourself. 8 to 10 hours is what you need, and if you're not getting this rest consecutively, you're going to suffer. You can't try cutting corners, getting 3 hours in the afternoon and another 5 during the night. That isn't how a proper sleep pattern works. No, that's not how we go about it. This brings us to the next topic, which is the opposite of sleep deprivation, and that's getting too much sleep. Having too much of anything is bad for you. Naturally, staying up too long without rest is going to make you tired and lazy. Your head will feel light and your mind fuzzy since it's been working for far too long. But when you decide to let out your inner lethargic lion to sleep for 18 hours a day, you'll start feeling different side effects. Instead of a light fuzzy head, you'll have a heavy throbbing head, pulsating because it's been out of work once again for far too long. After sleeping for too long, you'll always be tired, mind heavy from all the silent hours it's rested, and now suddenly it has to get back to work again. It's just like coming back to work after a long 2-week holiday. Though you know the break was going to end, the longer you postpone it, the more reluctant you are to go back. Your mind is the same. It's been sleeping for so long, a few more hours wouldn't hurt. But the truth is, they actually will. Eventually doing nothing and relaxing becomes an addiction, something you can't even get enough of and constantly hunt for more. This makes you lazier, more tired, and less willing to perform the tasks. What you must realise is that there's always a time when work returns and you have to stop resting. Even though you're getting enough sleep and plenty more, getting up in the morning becomes harder, though you may be using an alarm clock and open curtains. So a minimum of 8 hours is good to keep you running for 16 hours. Anything over 10 hours will force you into the hibernation and you'll wake up crankier than any grizzly bear after the winter. So the equation to a perfect morning is simple. Good night's sleep complemented by an early start to the morning. But being an early bird isn't something to be embarrassed about. It's something to hold your head proudly over. A lot of people look enviously at those that can wake up in the morning happy and full of energy. If you're one of those people, then stop wearing the colour green, since becoming one with the flock isn't as hard as it seems. The saying, rise with the sun, comes from somewhere and is basically trying to imply that the most natural, healthy way to wake up is when the sun does. Natural light is the friendliest light to have brushing against your skin in the misty morning. With the vibrancy of fresh light and a long night to help satisfy your tired mind, waking up properly is the only way to make each day count just that little bit more. The first thing that you'll notice is perhaps how your productivity levels rise when you wake up with the sun. Given the scenario of modern life, early risers make the most of their day even before your morning coffee kicks in. Let's just say busy lives cater best to those who wake up early. Looking at well-known success stories, most such individuals report waking up at 5 a.m. or even earlier. Apart from the obvious benefit of gaining more clock time hours added to the day, early hours also means fewer distractions. The mind also tends to be more alert in the morning and allows for focusing better than when surrounded by interruptions. Thinking clearly also goes to benefit better decision-making and increased productivity during your day. So, getting a head start on others in this way lets you add value to your mornings at your own distraction. Making sure your day starts early does come with a lot of rewards. First off, being the first one to wake up is a good enough reward. It means you're in control of your morning and not the people bustling around you that have already woken up. You can choose what you want to do, what you want to have for breakfast, where to start your day off. Having everything under control is a riveting experience. And once you've had one taste of it, you'll really want it more and more. With your own head start on the day, you can watch as the rest of the day wakes up around you. All that you need done can be completed before you even have to do it. Control is something no one can't get enough of. Imagine driving on the free open road. It's most likely the best feeling anyone can have. With your hands on the steering wheel, the speed pulling you along for the joyride, the smooth wheels imitating the feeling as though you were flying, and all the controllers flowing through the spaces between your fingers. It may not look like the same feeling, but it is indeed exactly what you feel when you wake up early. No one to tell you what to do. This is what waking up early can offer you. And honestly, it isn't something you want to miss out on. With a little dedication, you can have the world to yourself, even if it's just for 1 hour. People who wake up early have a natural inclination to invest in their health. So how's that? It's fairly simple. Everyone knows that as the typical day progresses, things tend to become crazier and faster. Things that you would like to do for yourself tend to get pushed aside. They have to take a back seat. Just think about the workout you've always wanted to fit into your busy schedule but never got around to it, or the jog around the block to keep you healthy and fit. Even meditation to get stress out of your system before you dive headlong into your day. It's all very easy for such personal goals to get sidelined or completely fall off the radar. The flip side is that it is these very items that can help you de-stress and increase your productivity. So for most people, it's much easier and more realistic to make personal time for these such activities in the morning before the daily grind starts. You'll see that early risers always have some slot of physical activity in their mornings. The benefits include waking up in a good mood, staying in a good mood day long, and ending the day on a good note. Of course, with such positivity comes great stamina, better performance, and improved concentration. So exercise is a great way for setting up your day with energy, focus, and enthusiasm. So whatever morning ritual works for you, whether it's going for a power walk or pumped up, or taking time out to delve in meditative breathing and yoga, make time for it in your mornings. Waking up early will be worth the sacrifice. You'll be a more productive person, enjoy more time out in the sun, have and relish the creativity peak you can only produce armed with a morning cup of joy. The results slowly show on you as well. It'll be harder for those big black bags to sit underneath such revitalized and lively eyes. You'll carry that unsuspecting skip in your step others can only crave for. Your posture, positivity, and personality will suddenly become contagious elements people compliment you on over your lunch break. You have to get breakfast. Now, this may seem like a no-brainer to most people, yet so many people don't have time to make themselves a decent breakfast and enjoy it in peace before heading out for the day. After all, the caffeine lying at the bottom of your coffee cup isn't what is going to make your day a good one. It's the time you have with that cup of coffee. Those who do enjoy their breakfast will tell you that it's the ideal fuel to run your brain and your body. Breakfast not only kickstarts your metabolism, but also gives you the energy to get things done during the day. It puts you in a happier mood, unknowingly for most people, but because you simply function better on a filled stomach. In the same way, a good breakfast keeps you from snacking or binging away unnecessarily. If anything, it's the perfect way to stabilize and then maintain your blood glucose levels during the day. So have a hearty breakfast with some fruit or nut-top cereal, maybe a smoothie, or just go with the traditional egg on toast if that's what really you like. I have introduced fresh juice into my morning routine, which has really made a difference. You can opt for whatever works best for you, but do keep in mind that you'll have to make time for breakfast, even if it means starting your day a little earlier. Every day is a new one. Every experience will last forever and make you the person who stands before yourself today. This kind of progress doesn't happen overnight, though. It may take months, but the future prize will last for years. With every day being an opportunity, take each opportunity by the throat, start it off the best you can, and never let it get away. So what are some habits to help you sleep earlier? So when starting your new developing habit of waking early, you can try out new techniques and habits to help yourself. One thing to keep in mind when you're going to try new techniques to wake up early is not everything will work for you. You have to work out what your individual needs are. So just pick one or two that will work best for you in your daily routine. So you can pick and choose some ideas that you think may work for you, and if they don't worry. There are so many more helpful pointers you can find. You may not even need help waking up other than an alarm clock. When it comes to waking up early, you have to keep a positive mindset. Most people who wake up early do wake up optimistic, energetic, and beaming. In order to wake up in such a good mood, you need a positive approach to your mornings every single morning. So you need to feel good each morning. As mentioned earlier in the show, the morning determines how the rest of your day goes. Whether you feel elated or down in the dumps. It's hard and sometimes you simply don't have control over the mood you wake up in. If the neighbour's dog barks the world awake each morning, including yourself, it's easy to see why you may not wake up in the best of spirits. So to conquer this, rather than thinking negatively about the neighbour's dog, think of a positive solution. You could either purchase some earplugs to block out the noise or adjust your sleeping time so you can wake up a little earlier. So everything has two sides. In order for you to keep an upbeat balance to your days, you need to understand both of those sides. What's the negative outcome and what is the positive? Most times the negative solution or result is easier to see and commit to. With a little practice though, the positive side can be conquered, and when it is, you'll feel much better about yourself and the neighbour's dog. Just as well, when you see how early you've woken up, don't feel disheartened. You should feel better. You've definitely experienced a day where you unconsciously woke up early, saw the time, and went right back to sleep. It's all right. Everyone loves their sleep. However, when it comes to turning early mornings into a routine, never look at the clock cynically. Look at the time positively. Look at all the time you now have to accomplish everything that needs looking at throughout the day. This brings me to my next point in changing your mental perspective on an early start, and that's planning out the layout of your day. So when you start your day, a great way to motivate yourself is by having an agenda. Mornings are admittedly hard, working out your breakfast, your schedule, your meals, and so on and so forth. But what would you do if you'd already planned it all out? So maybe look at it before you go to sleep. Think about the coming morning. What are you going to eat? Maybe you'll go out for breakfast or make an omelette. Even if it's a vague idea, it's still a method of motivation. Maybe you can go an even further and plan out your entire morning. If it's a work day, then the morning may be monotone. But if you have a free day ahead of you, make the day fun and interesting with a plan for all the things you can do. Go out for a run or start a project. Try out some new recipes or indulge in some creativity. Anything can spice up a day, and when your day gets more exciting, you'll be more driven to start it early. Having a plan for every day may seem timely, but the truth is the only work behind it can be a few hopeful thoughts before bed. Think about how your day-to-day went and try to make tomorrow a better one. If you couldn't see your friends today, see them tomorrow for an early brunch. Today didn't go well and you felt tired in the morning, take a shower the next morning to wake yourself up and feel fresh. If every day isn't repetitive, then you'll feel better about each day. This may feel hard, trying to find something new to do every day. Still, it's something to look forward to and it actually isn't as hard as you tend to presume. One small change in any day is a good change. Changing something in the morning, for instance, having a different breakfast, going out rather than staying in, leaving the curtains open rather than closed, are all changes you can make with one pre-planned decision that will make your day better. Hold yourself accountable for not waking up early. If you wake up late, it's your fault. Ignore the alarm clock, shielding the sunlight with your blanket, snoozing for only 5 more minutes. It's all in your head. Only you can be held accountable by the time you wake up. Think about all the things you didn't do. Without the sunlight, you couldn't go out and enjoy, or perhaps, a wonderful summer day. Brunch with your friends is no longer possible. You may not have time to take out for yourself now that most of the day is already gone. The shrug of your shoulder is not allowed here. The more guilt and responsibility you feel for not committing to your early mornings, the less likely you will sleep in. So you need to think of all the healthy benefits you miss out on. Waking up with a smile on your face. No black sinking holes darkening your eyes. No lingering sneer for brushing the irritable tangles in your hair. No horrible day hating the parting from you and your bed. There's so much to gain from waking up early and so much to lose from sleeping in. This isn't something to think optimistically about. This time, rather than looking to the better side of the story, you most likely got an extra hour of sleep. Think of all the things you didn't receive. As odd as it may sound, it's okay to feel bad about yourself. It's fine. Everyone does it all the time. They think negatively about their body, their hair, their habits, and you know what they do? They change. If you hate waking up late and truly want to wake up early, then try associating pain to the days you choose to sleep in. Curse the mornings you didn't wake up early and resent the chances you missed out. All that resentment will become your strongest motivational push, driving to better mornings and healthier, happier days. So dream of waking up like a perfect coffee ad, where they seem to love the sun's rays passing through their curtains. It'll happen soon enough. So what are some tips to help you wake up early? Fret not, for when you aren't capable of changing your mood swings about the early mornings, you can simply resort to these sneaky tricks. There is always another way to do things when you can't change, and that's to change your surroundings. Everything around you affects the way you sleep and the way you wake up. No matter what you've got in your room, even if it's a book, it will affect your sleep. That's why the room you sleep in has to be the perfect environment for restful and fulfilling sleep of slumber. There are many parts of your room you must focus on. Is it the right room to sleep in? Are you surrounded by distractions that are going to keep you up? Where's your bed located, and is it really the most comfortable place to have it? Ask yourself some questions to better your own sleep, and always keep in mind this is for a better, more relaxed morning. So the following are some main contributing factors to your sleep that should be primarily addressed for better sleep results. So, is your bed comfortable? What about your pillow? The math behind waking up early comes from a nice long night of sleep that started early. You must give up late nights in order to make up feeling fresh and productive. Have you thought about keeping your curtains open when you go to sleep so that the morning sunshine can shimmer through your windows when you wake up? There's nothing better than natural sunlight, and it'll never fail you. Even if you're feeling upset or down, you can simply stroll out into the sun. A true fact is, sunlight makes everyone feel happier with sufficient vitamin D. Without the sun up in the sky, you don't feel happy at all. That's why rainy days are always the worst. Everyone hates days when the clouds cover the sky and rain on your parade because they're blocking out the sun. Almost every day is another day where you want to strangle your alarm clock. There are other types of alarm clocks you can use that might be more successful than the one you have. Perhaps try waking up to music, or maybe if you keep pushing the snooze button, have one without a snooze button. Start your day as soon as you wake up. Don't lie there. Don't procrastinate. So hopefully by now, the logic to the primarily mentioned equation has been completely explained to your understanding. If you don't recollect what it was, here's a reminder. The key points are: the right amount of sleep kicked off with an early morning to boost your spirit. The only way you can make space for the proper amount of sleep is by creating a suitable routine for yourself. This routine also has to be able to comprise with all the extra time you'll receive arising so promptly. It doesn't seem to be unfair getting your late nights taken away by the morning, but they don't always have to go. Once you've developed a steady mental schedule that wakes up in the morning automatically, you can enjoy those occasional late nights. Too many of us try to pretend to be somebody that we're not. Maybe we're trying to impress people. Maybe we're trying to fool ourselves into thinking that we're completely different people. The sad part, too many of us are not aware that this is happening. Too many people are trying to be something they're not, and this grinds them down. They keep pushing forward, but ultimately they still don't measure up. Regardless of how hard they try, and regardless of how much effort they put in, they simply aren't happy, nor are they fulfilled. There's always something missing. They feel incomplete, flawed, and weak. And oftentimes they can't quite put their finger on it. The truth is, you can't be at your best or at all times. That's just not going to happen. You can't be all things to all people, nor can you have it all. So why don't you join me in the next episode of Thoughts, Action, Success, where I'll share with you how to live a more meaningful and contented life by embracing your flaws. So if you want to finish 2021 in the best place possible, or maybe you want to get a real head start on 2022 and are seriously considering working with a coach one-on-one, don't wait. Book a free discovery call with me. So to find out more, just drop me an email at kirsty@kirstyjohnson.com and we can get on the way to living your best life. I'd also love you to come on over and join me in the Facebook group, Female Masterminds, where you can become part of a community for those wanting to live their best life. In this group, I also share further information from the show and also exclusive free coaching content only available to members of this group. In the meantime, have a fantastic rest of the weekend, and I look forward to talking with you all really soon.